Back in studio, another NFL Sunday here on HQ. Game Day Scoreboard Week 13. Joe Musso alongside Bryant McFadden as this evening window comes to a close. Some highly contested, some sleepy snoozers, but tight in the end. We begin with the Saints and the Rams struggling offensively, but it would come down to a fourth down inside 2 minutes. Red area. Derek Carr not feeling the pressure on what we could call maybe the presumptive defensive rookie of the year, Jared Verse.
Yes, sir.
Been a
hey,
force
Braden
of
Fitz
late.
could be defensive rookie of the year as well.
Jaden Verse out of where?
Florida State.
All right, we're looking for the silver linings for those Knowles for you, Mac.
Yes, sir.
21-14, your finalists. New Orleans can't convert there late. Offensively, lacking identity. All that we saw 2 weeks ago from Taysom Hill, lacking in this one as well. And late, Hill carted off the field with an apparent knee injury. We'll bring you all the latest here on CBS Sports HQ. All right, Mac, this was one that two teams with still something to play for, mathematically at least. The Rams certainly taking care of business, not in emphatic fashion. What was your takeaway from this game that lacked a little bit of an identity itself?
Well, this game wasn't overly as entertaining as we thought we would see based on what we've seen from the last time these two teams have been out. Now, granted, the Rams, they were trying to get back in the winning column. A letdown of a performance a week ago. Clearly, they're trying to keep things sticky within the division. And the last time we saw the New Orleans Saints, I mean, they were scoring touchdowns left and right. But the thing that made the Rams kind of set themselves apart, Joe, in this matchup was critical moments, situational football, third down opportunities. The Rams, they were 4-9 on third down. The Saints, 5 of 15. Most importantly, the red zone. The Rams were 3 for 3 in the red zone. The Saints 0 for 2.
Yeah.
You talked about the lack of creativity for the New Orleans Saints. They were outstanding before their bye week in the red zone because of who? Taysom Hill and the creativity he added to their offense, either being a +1 in the running game or having the option to hand it to Alvin Kamara or throw the football. They became more generic, and because of that, they did not capitalize on the points that was there for them when they were in the red zone. To Matthew Stafford and the Rams, they capitalized. You talk about being perfect in the red zone, that's winning football.
So why becomes the question? Is it because it's, I don't want to use the term gimmick, but the package, the Taysom Hill usage. The first 15 2 weeks ago, she just said Taysom. It was Taysom at quarterback. It was lined up in the slot. It was hand him the ball. It was let him return the kick. We always feel like we get one of those a season. Why not turn to that more? Is that the tape is out there? We can't use those plays, almost as if they are special explosives that you use once, twice a year?
Of course, at this point in the season, the tape is out on everyone.
Yeah.
It's up to the opposing team to do what? Stop it. Stop it. And until they show you otherwise, go back to the well. You're thirsty. You have to drink. Go to the well. It worked mightily for you, New Orleans, before the bye. So let's keep it going until the opposing team defensively, they tells us, you know what, we have the tape. But when you talk about lacking creativity, there lies the issue for them in the red zone and capitalizing and scoring opportunities and not. In NFL, any level of football, if you settle for field goals or if you don't score at all in the red zone and the other team is scoring, you're going to lose.
4-8 usually tells you that it's over. We'll see what it looks like moving forward for the Saints. 6-6, especially out west. The Rams still very much alive. A negative 36-point differential this year. And I know some lopsided outcomes can sway that one way or the other. But when you look at this LA team, I know when they were that 3-win team, you were the ones singing their praises, holding out hope. How do you feel about them about a month and a half later?
I still feel really, really good with the Rams because at the end of the day, in terms of being relevant in your division, you need two things. You need a good head coach and a good quarterback. The last time I checked, Joe, they checked the box for both. I love Matthew Stafford. I love Sean McVay. Outside of having that luxury, look at their division. It's the division of unknowns. A few weeks ago, Arizona was sitting atop of the division. The last 2 weeks, they've lost both games in winnable situations. For the San Francisco 49ers, they have been losing ball games. They've been dealing with injuries. Hey, they're playing a very, very tough team on the road in tonight's matchup in the Buffalo Bills. And then for Seattle, you don't know exactly what Seattle team you're going to see from week to week. There lies the window of opportunity for the Los Angeles Rams. So right now, seeing them being 6-6, looking at the other teams in the division, I think if you were to ask 4 individuals who watch the NFL week in and week out, who do you predict to win the NFC West? I think each individual probably would say a different team. And I think that's how wide open it is. And if that's the case for the Los Angeles Rams, you have to like your chances.
You want a head coach, you want a quarterback, you now have a head coach who is tied for the most regular season wins in Rams franchise history, holds that record on his own. And now Matthew Stafford passing our colleague in Matt Ryan for 6th most game-winning drives. So until this team is done, they are not done.
Nope.
Very much alive in that division. What does a head coach like Sean McVay do for a team coming down the stretch that is even 500? You got a lot of nice offensive pieces you believe in. There's some youth on that defense. Coaching has been the difference this season, and we've seen that. What can Sean McVay to make this team a playoff team and maybe something even more?
Well, the first thing in terms of good coaching, the first image of a good coach is his ability to develop, right? Name me another team in the National Football League, Joe, viewers, that have developed young talent like the Rams have done.
Without picks largely as
Quickness.
well.
It's not like you're waiting years for these guys to show up. These guys are drafted regardless being high draft picks or late draft picks. They show up and they contribute. That's the first thing. Secondly, how prepared these guys have been. Year in and year out. Going back to last year's team for 2023, we didn't know exactly who Puka Nacua was and what he could do. Kyron Williams, Brian Young, some of those guys that were called upon and they answered the phone call. Now you're looking at what's going on with Jared Verse, Braden Fisk. This is a team that has done a phenomenal job identifying what these players look like from the collegiate standpoint and how they fit into their system. And then when they get to La La Land, they're not going to Laker games and LA King games. They're developing and they're in the weight room and they're in the film book, in the film room and studying their playbook. And then putting forth the same mentality on the football field.
Player development.
And not to mention the preparation that we're seeing from these guys. They're a young team in critical positions. They have young players, but these guys are playing like vets.
Yeah.
To your point, who came up with the final defensive play? 2 rookies, Jared Verse, Braden Fisk. Those 2 guys have been the catalyst for their defensive unit. And a defense that lost Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
And really haven't missed a beat. Think about that.
It's impressive stuff, especially when you look at the fact that Verse was their first-round pick in quite some time in this Sean McVay era. They obviously hit on that one. They're a team that's alive in that division. Not the cleanest picture of the LA Rams just yet, but with that coach and that quarterback, some youth on the defense, who knows out west.